Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. There was a huge swing in the US markets as initially indications came in from Ben Bernanke that the stimulus would continue till there is stability in the economy, and the data point suggests that now there is going to be a sustained recovery. But in the Q&A session, there were contradictory statements coming out saying that in the next Fed meet in June, they would review the continuation of this bond purchases and the stimulus program. So there is a feel that probably the quantitative easing could be discontinued as early as June, and the extent of the stimulus is also not very clear. So from the top of the day, Dow actually corrected almost about 230 points, and something which was looking up about 150 to 160 points. At the end of the day, it was down almost 80 points, the Dow Jones Index. So most of these markets were down almost about 0.8 to almost about 1% in the US. European markets closed much before that, so they all closed in positive territory to the tune of almost about 0.5%. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Japan is running away as we have seen major fall in the yen to almost about 103.74 against the dollar. But the rest of the markets are cracking. Hang Seng is down, Korea is down, and most of the other markets are showing that there's going to be a weak opening. Even SGX Nifty is suggesting that we are going to have a negative tick of almost about 43 points. Talking about the currencies, friends, we've seen the dollar index going to almost about 84 levels against most of the currencies, and even some of the precious metals and crude have also corrected. Like gold was down about 0.5% to about 1%, silver was down, and even crude was down to almost about 98 odd levels. So we are seeing a lot of volatility in the currency and commodities because of the this kind of statements coming out from the US Fed. And talking about the flows, friends, FIs were net buyers in the cash market to the tune of about 564 crore, and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of almost about 900 odd crore. And we are seeing intensification of the selling by the domestic funds over the last few sessions. And in the index futures, the FIs were net buyers to the tune of 540 odd crore. Importantly, friends, USD INR or the Indian rupee has corrected to a new low of almost about 55.6, which is 6 months lowest level that we have seen, and that is also unnerving to a lot of people. Also, friends, yesterday L&T came out with a disappointing set of numbers, and as against the market expectations on most of the parameters, top line, operating profit margin, and the net profit numbers were slightly below. And there are expectations or fears in the market that the overall valuation that a company like L&T is getting, the kind of growth and the execution that they are doing is not in line with that, and that led to some kind of a negative sentiment around L&T stock. The management has given a guidance of about 15% kind of a growth, but overall sentiment continues to remain dull. On that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we can have in the F&O markets.
Good morning, friends. Let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, we've been seeing that the markets on higher side is unable to surpass the resistance level and has slid further. Now, during this course of time, if we have a look at the FI's activity in the futures and options segment, specifically our observation has been that in index futures, they've not been a net seller. If I compare the data of past couple of trading session, the same has been witnessed in index option. They're not net sellers in index options. So that is which has been clearly indicating that they've been slowly and steadily accumulating index futures as well as index option. Now, accumulating index options may mean that they would be hedging their positions compared to the positions which is open into the cash market or say into the futures market. Now, we've seen that the combination of long and shorts have been building up in the Nifty futures, Nifty future. And despite a fall in the market in yesterday's trade, we have seen long positions being accumulated by market participants. Talking about the PCR ratio, we've seen that from 1.26 it has slid down to 1.18, and on the volatility front, we have seen that it has remained almost flat or has decreased marginally. Now, the option metric has been clearly suggesting that as per the market movement, as market has been trading into a range of say around 50 to 100 points, the positions have been churning. It's within say with every interval of 100 points, the positions have been churning. Now 6,100, which is a weekly volume weighted average price. And we've also seen that 6,100 call option as well as 6,100 put option has seen good amount of accumulation, or say good amount of activity in the option segment. So what we feel is that once Nifty closes below 6,100, then only we'll be reviewing our bias for the market. From intraday perspective, friends, Havels is looking good. One can go long with stop loss of 673 rupees 60 paisa, and one can go short on JSW Steel with stop loss of 696 rupees 15 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, the companies which will be announcing numbers today. State Bank of India, we're looking at a net profit of about 3,720 crore. And it's important to note what kind of provisioning or NPLs are we really looking at, and most of the market participants are expecting a recovery on a quarter-on-quarter basis as far as the NPL is concerned. On the net interest income front, there is going to be a 2% kind of a cut. So this number is going to be important from a sentiment perspective. In case of Tata Steel, we are looking at a net profit of about 330 crore. Watch out for some one-time write-off for extraordinary expenses in the numbers. And JSW Steel, we are looking at a net profit of about 490 crore. And in case of Indraprastha Gas, we are looking at a net profit of about 88.3 crore. There is an important development for the oil marketing companies and even upstream companies like ONGC and Oil India, as the government is looking at shifting the calculation of the subsidy from the current trade policy to export parity prices. And because of this, the oil marketing companies could stand to lose almost about 10,000 to 12,000 crore as a part of the lower under recovery. So we've seen some weakness in companies like HPCL, BPCL and IOC because of this development, and there could be some more pressure on them. At the same time, it is viewed positively for companies like ONGC and Oil India, as the overall subsidy burden for these upstream companies could be much lower than what the market is expecting. And so expect some positive reaction for ONGC and Oil India in today's market. Ranbaxy Laboratories has indicated that they would cut down their sales force globally, and this is mainly because of the kind of slowdown that they are witnessing because of the allegations of some kind of irregularity at their plan and the kind of penalties that they had to pay. Also, there are indications that the current management of Daiichi Sankyo could sue their erstwhile promoters of Ranbaxy for non-disclosure of important items. So this counter could remain a little subdued in today's market. And Reliance Jio Infocom is looking at launching the 4G services in most of the metros by the end of current financial year. SEBI has written to the JED board asking certain questions about the management change post their deal with Etihad, and some section of the market was believing that because it involves change of management, there should be an open offer, and this could be a bit of a negative for Jet Airways counter, as there is some amount of uncertainty there. And Goa cabinet has decided to continue with the purchase of power from Reliance Infra, and they've also allowed them to shift to the natural gas as an alternate fuel for power generation. Some positive news for Bajaj Auto is the government allows quadricycles to be used commercially within the city limits as a mode of public transport. So since they already have a model ready, RE60, there is going to be some positive uptick in Bajaj Auto stock in today's market. One can go long there with a stop loss of 1812 and a target of about 1905 to about 1940. Jyoti Lab came out with a disappointing set of numbers, and their net profit plunged almost about 57% YOY, and as against the expectations of 29 crore, the company reported a net profit of just 12 crore. So one can go short on Jyoti Lab with a stop loss of 179 and a target of about 169 to about 166. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.